Very pleased to welcome our next guest, who returns to Tuesday Funk for the second time? Third time! She predates me, so that's what a veteran our next reader is. Kristin Lueke, now a Chicagoan, originally hails from Southern California. Her poems have been published in NAP, Untoward Magazine, The Acentos Review, and elsewhere. Her first chapbook, Indifferent Math, is forthcoming this summer from Dancing Girl Press. Please give a warm welcome to Kristin Lueke.
Thank you. I always wish I was taller. Okay. I have kind of a fun assortment of poems for you guys tonight. Some of them are very new, some of them are sort of new, some of them will be appearing in Indifferent Math this summer, and there is one that maybe we'll get to that is almost embarrassingly old. I'm going to start you guys off with a poem titled after a line stolen from a young adult novel. I don't remember what the line was, or the young adult novel, but I like the title, so I'm sticking with it. 1. Identify your terror. 2. Weigh it. 3. Belittle it. 3A. Make passive remarks about your terror's strange diction. Note its awkward gait and asymmetry. Talk at length about golden ratios and forget the point. Do not apologize. 3B. Let terror believe for a moment that you're laughing with it, not at it. Invite terror closer. First ask, then demand its secrets and, more importantly, its shames. 3C. Smile still. Smile still. Keep smiling. Graduate too quickly to blatant mockery. Note. Refrain from sarcasm. Your terror has convinced itself its fluency in sarcasm is both its greatest weapon and its inevitable undoing. Do not feed the fictions. 4. Try maybe telling your terror that people do not laugh at its jokes, not because they don't understand sarcasm, but because terror's sense of humor sucks. 5. Figure out what terror loves. Here's one that just appeared in Nap magazine. Maybe you're familiar with Zeno's paradox. It's a theory which posits that the distance between A and B could never theoretically be breached because the amount of halves between those 2 points is immeasurable. So this poem is only very vaguely about that. It's called This Is No How To. Never make the points you mean to. Recall that if space is infinite, is spreading outward always already, that all distance is immeasurable and halves innumerable by man and math alike. There's little point then in treating any gradual silence as anything less than inevitable. Consider punctuation. Now reconsider, or return instead to volume. Think static. The point returns. Ask what of closer, about hearing. There is no arriving, only hollowing over will call them echoes in the lack that even as contracting grows and grows and grows, I reach for you even still. I'm gonna backtrack a second. In the last year, several friends or friends of friends have told me these 3 stories that I often try to retell at parties, I guess, if I go to those. And the punchlines get me every time. So I wrote a series of very short poems about those punchlines. 1. Let's get him. It's a good story. What a man claims to own is not simply once called given, but a mass becomes Someone decides the right and what is just, in the end, a man asserting. Suddenly, someone's losing. 2. I got you. You always said you loved surprises, so I came rushing from behind a corner you didn't even see coming. Maybe I was drunk, or maybe you were wild, but one of us was from our separate sides screaming, so clearly I swear this is fiction. Love the things you love so much that you become without realizing, unable to continue pretending to love some things you really don't. And then you were bleeding. The last one is called What Are We Gonna Do Now? A cautionary tale. Know your way down. Ongoing. Somebody is somewhere gathering reasons. I want you only as what you are. October broke into some 100 pieces. Somebody somewhere is mending, and in her face a continent crossing. You came here to be with. Somebody somewhere takes your picture. You sing them your song. Another storm is always coming. I want you to spell your name. When you say wait, what do you mean? Somebody means you everything. Your voice is like a book. I want to feel its age and claim it, but I am only what you are, owning nothing, somebody somewhere, another crossing. I am a visitor, and you are your own home. So the majority of these now are either going to have recently been published or are very new. Let's see how this goes. This one's called Lohmeyer Park, or Anywhere Else. And I wrote it about a park called Lohmeyer Park. That's in St. Louis. If you're ever there, you should go. It's beautiful. It makes you write poems. In the middle of the woods, in the middle of elsewhere, we'll call it St. Louis because that's where we were. Holy. We give up holy often. I defer to you on fun and blood, and you to me on you. A note, I know will never leave you. Find me somehow, quickly. Instead, we've shapes of nearness, this middle and this blood, and the wantlessness of hurry. In passing, thought and shamelessly. Others don't so much exist as anchor the periphery to keep the earth close, such is the wholeness with which I tell you. This one is extremely new. It is not what anyone would call finished, but I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed thinking about it. I hope to continue writing it, unless it's horrible, in which case email me and let me know to divert my attentions elsewhere. It's maybe called An Incomplete Assumption or the History of Knowing or I Love You. And this title, much like the poem itself, is a work in progress. Let us begin by supposing that such a thing exists as knowing, from which we demand more than mere belief. For instance, what is known? Time passes, sky's blue, you wind your watch every morning and take your coffee with milk. Before knowing, there was nothing, again an assumption but one, so long as we're supposing, as we're believing, we can presume. Nothing is a hollow, a shape that wants for its own lack, calls in silence for knowing. There was a time, if you can believe it, when I didn't know your name. In the beginning, there was wanting. Then followed language, the word itself, want, a preliminary violence against nothing. To agree that a beginning must have been is to sense an end must be. We name all that comes between, and in so doing, give it texture. You call me love, I feel its gravel. I've called you foolish. This is a whim. To simply name is not enough. There needs a weight, an understanding not of the sound one mouth makes toward another, but its gravity, a constant bearing down. To know is such a bleeding sea. We feel the world in friction and measure learning in our wounds. A voice can only say so much. A force can test a shape, compels it toward another. There is for every venturing a consequence in space. This is the shape of the world. This is the heart in your hand. I asked you once where the word I began, assuming you could not be far behind, and the difference therein we, which became us. You think I'm occasionally unreasonable, but amuse me all the same. Perhaps consider what we call knowing is only wind or breath and stone or earth or skin. That the whole of human knowledge can be carved into a rock and then turned to ash again. I make diagrams in a book you gave me and keep it near for reference and to recall how strange it is I've come to know you. So, email me. I'm gonna read one more, but I'm not sure what to do. So I could either read a newish one or an oldish one.
Read your favorite.
No! That's hard.
No!
Read both.
No! Okay, I'll
Left hand.
do I have enough time to read two more?
Let me check. The judges say yes.
Oh! Sweet! So I'm going to read the newish one first, and then the oldest one, and hope that it goes okay. This one is called Proximity Gratitude. I am grateful for my mother, who after casually snooping through my new apartment found a vibrator. I will not call it mine, though it was. As far as she knew, it was simply A. And mercifully said nothing. And old furnaces that, though loud and on occasion, usually in the dead of night, terrifying, make me less chilly or less alone, which I realize over the clamor is absurd, but also valid, and I allow myself this, and I'm grateful. Also clean water and sanitation and various sciences. Most sciences. It is important to me to understand that I don't understand really anything. This reminds me I am human. Alternatively, when I do understand something, I feel human then too, which is nice to remember in the middle of the night. I am grateful for you, and learning the lengths you go to not mind the way I'm ugly in the morning and other times as well, or how I talk too much and often run late, or say certainly in phrases like I'm inclined to, which are really, when you think about it, redundant and strangely apologetic. This troubles me because when I do apologize, as I will need to, even want to, I'd rather the words meant something fuller than a bit of sound I threw out while treading water, looking for the right way to tell you, I hope you live forever. Okay, so this is it. The first incarnation of this I wrote when I was 19 years old. It is the very first poem I ever read out loud in public. I edited the shit out of it time and time again. And then I started leaving it alone. And now this is what it is. I speak a little bit of Spanish in it. I'm very sorry about that. I don't do it that well. But God knows I try. It's called Corrido, and she hummed it. She sang to me in murmurs, hymns that I alone could carry. Cariña, your life recklessly will happen. Si amas sin vergüenza. Recuerda, si debes llorar sin temor. Your heart is yours alone to bear. Deja quemar el mundo en ti. Have you strength to sift through ashes? Mijita, we are blessed to drift through valleys, como viento, como ecos, contra paredes de montañas we call men. Nunca anclas, we are dust, my love. we rise and spread, vivimos en fuego. Mere silhouettes of discontent felled in legion to foreign dunes. Millionma scathed beauty, such fierce skin, what velvet robes, humbled at their feet, like herds and castaways before she broke and fed the earth. Es la vida. We struggle because we must. Palomita, says my mother, whose mouth I have forgotten. Do not, I beg, my love, forget these hands that have always held you. That's it.